My dream life is to not work. Like, if I'm being very honest, my dream life is to not be working. Hello, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is big 2024, and I'm here with a mic and my iPad to let you guys know that we are standing on business this year, okay? This channel is going to look a little different from what we are used to. When you think about the Alma Chronicle, I feel like some of you come on here to watch all of the amazing travel vlogs that I share with you guys. But in 2024, we're taking a different approach to the contents that we will be sharing on YouTube. Did I say we? I will be sharing on YouTube. We're going to be having a lot of sit down videos. We're going to be having a lot of one on ones, heart to hearts, because I just feel like you guys are really my community. You guys are my YouTube fam, and I love talking to you guys. So, with that little intro, welcome to 2024. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday break. My holiday was very quiet, but it was also very eventful in the way that I needed it to be. There was no dirty December for me. I was very much in Toronto, in my bed, talking to God and being like, 2024 has to be different. And so that is pretty much the energy that we enter this year with. And I am so excited to be, on here talking with you guys. I am just excited for this year in general. And I am looking for all of the things that we're going to be discussing, all of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, and just the amazingness that is going to be 2024. With that being said, before you even get into this video, before we get into this video, I just want you to know that this is a long video, and you've probably seen the title already. I am going to be talking about how I quit my job in 2023, gifted myself a sabbatical for my birthday, and some of the things that I did to achieve that. But before we even get into the video, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that the Amma Chronicle videos are back on YouTube, and I will see you guys at the end of the video. Okay, let's get straight into it. As you can see, I have my little mic here like a podcaster. I don't know who I think I am. And I have my iPad because I have some notes that I want to talk to you guys about. Last year, I posted a tweet. I'm going to leave the tweet on the screen somewhere here. Just saying that for my 30th birthday, I turned 30 last year. For my 30th birthday, I gifted myself a sabbatical from my 9 to 5 job. And when I tweeted this, I kid you guys not, it was like, I had to turn off my phone because the mentions were going crazy on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. A lot of people reposted it on Instagram. I think even Shade Room reposted it, and I was like, no, this is a lot. Like, I didn't think it was going to get that kind of traction, but it did. And when it got that kind of traction, one thing that I realized is a lot of people wanted to know how I planned to just take a year of work and just relax and travel and watch TV and just all of that good stuff. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some insight into how I planned to take my sabbatical. And without further ado, I'm going to actually ask some questions that people um, asked me on IG, because I asked my Instagram fam to send me questions, and some people did. And so I'm going to answer some of those questions in today's video. The first question that I'm going to answer, just to set the tone for this conversation, is: did you take a sabbatical or did you quit your job? And what was the reason for taking a sabbatical? The reason for taking a sabbatical for me was very simple. I was tired, child. I'm not even going to lie. I was exhausted. I was tired of being an adult. I had been working for years, but prior to even like working in like the corporate field in corporate America, I just was going to school. I got my master's. I migrated to Canada. I settled in Canada. I was just tired. COVID happened, and I feel like after COVID, not even like after COVID, because we're still living in after COVID years, but like in 2020, 2022, I just woke up one morning and I'm like, I literally cannot log into work. I had been going on holiday, going on vacation breaks, but I was mentally and just physically, emotionally, I was everything drained. I did not have one thing in me to give to anybody, talk less of to like log into work and to do my best. And so that was when I realized and I decided that I was going to take a break. So I decided at the beginning of 2022 that I was going to take a break from my 9 to 5 job. And then in 2023, I took a break from my 9 to 5 job. So there was a whole year difference. And part of the reason why there was a whole year was because I needed to financially plan for just taking that break. We're going to be talking about a lot of that financial planning today. The next question was, how did you know how much you would have to save for it? It's been my sabbatical. Okay, so this is going to be a very mathematical approach. I'm going to give you guys the exact breakdown of what I did. I am an Excel babe. Okay, I love to punch in numbers. I calculate my net worth every month. I something that one of my friends in the finance industries actually taught me how to do. She created a spreadsheet for me and everything. I track my budgets. I have budget apps. I'm very, on top of my finances as an adult. That is one thing that I would say I'm very proud of for myself, is that I really take my finances seriously. So when I decided to take a sabbatical, I stepped back and I was like, okay, how much do I spend right now on a monthly basis? You guys, you have to start with it on like the micro level. How much do you spend on a monthly basis? So I want you to take all of these numbers and put them in an Excel sheet. So I want you to say, for example, my rent cost me $1,000, for example. Groceries, this is how much I spend. Utilities, this is how much I spend. My phone is $50 a month, and I know that it's going to be $50 a month for the next year. My car insurance is this amount. My home insurance is this amount. Basically, calculate all of your must have or your need expenses. These are expenses that you incur month after month without change, without fail, right? So what I did was I calculated all of those and I was like, okay, on a monthly basis, this is how much I spend. I parked that number. Now, because I am who I am, I like to enjoy myself. I'm never going to lie. Sabbatical or not, I was going to travel. And so I also looked at how I travel. How do I travel? Essentially, how you travel is look at all your past trips if you're someone that likes to travel. If you're someone that likes to shop, how much do you spend on shopping? Even though when you're planning for a sabbatical, I wouldn't really put shopping as a necessity. But for me, travel was a necessity because it was one of the things I wanted to do while on sabbatical. And so I told myself, okay, based on my previous travels, this is how much I spend on an average. So I know that if I'm going to a new country, this is how much I would spend on an average. I'm not really a budget traveler. I like to go to the nice restaurants. I like to go to the nice hotels. And so I just kind of like put money aside and be like, okay, in 2023, I'm going to go to 4 countries. And in these 4 countries, each country is going to cost me ballpark, just throwing out a number, $3,000. And so I had to save up $12,000 to go to 4 countries in 2023. This is just an example, by the way, but I'm just showing you guys the thought process of how I put that money together aside for traveling. Now, there's also miscellaneous. There's other things that come up when you are just an adult, things that you can really plan for. I already had a savings account, an emergency account. So I wasn't really bothered if, like, there were financial emergencies that were going to come on because I had been saving for emergencies, which is a habit that you need to also cultivate if you're an adult, just not because you're taking a sabbatical, but if you're an adult, you need to start saving for emergencies, right? So I already kind of had that fund on the side. But the main 2 things that I was gonna plan for it was my big bills, so like my rent, my phone, my car, everything that I needed to survive on a monthly basis. And then for me, the miscellaneous was like traveling, right? And so I looked at these 2 amounts and then I calculated how much I would need in a whole year. So remember, you already calculated how much you would need in a month. Now you're going to multiply that number by 12, and then it would give you how much you would need in a whole year, plus any other side expenses that you think is necessary for you while you're on your sabbatical. That is how you figure out how much you're going to save to take a break from your 9 to 5. How long did it take for me to save up for my 1 year sabbatical? It took me 1 year. And the reason it took me 1 year was because I think this brings me up to my next question. Did having content creation as a backup help create a cushion? Yes, I'm going to answer these 2 questions in one question. For those that don't know, I have a 9 to 5 job, or that I had a 9 to 5 job in addition to being a content creator. Being a content creator was my side hustle, but I also tell people that being a content creator pays very, very well. And for me in the year 2022, it paid extremely well. And so I was able to take some money from being a content creator and saving all of that towards, my sabbatical. I had my 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 was paying for all of my essentials, my rent, my car, and all of those things rather. And then I was taking literally every dollar I was making from my side hustle as a content creator, I was putting in a high interest savings account. I was not investing it because this is short term money. Like I needed it in the next year. So it wasn't going into any robo investments, any traded accounts. It was going into a high interest savings account. And that is pretty much how I saved up for my sabbatical. Having a side job. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. If you want to take a sabbatical as an adult, we all know that the economy is not necessarily in anyone's favor right now. If it's in your favor, please let me know. Leave a comment down below because you're really the one winning. For some of us, it's not in our favor, right? We're just trying to get by and make sure that we're doing everything that we need to get done as adults and just like planning our finances. But the economy right now, for a lack of better word, is pretty shitty. And so you have to pick up a side hustle. It's just the honest truth. Find something that you can do on the side that can give you that extra source of income because it would also lessen the burden on your primary source of income, and then you can have that extra cash to save. For me, that side hustle was being a content creator. So yes, being a content creator helped as a cushion, and I will always recommend if you're trying to plan for a sabbatical to find a side hustle that's going to give you an extra source of income. You can be a freelancer on Fiverr, Upper, you can take a waitress job. Like literally don't look down on anything as long as it gives you that extra money to put aside to save for your sabbatical. Did you separate your funds for housing, for traveling, and general expenses? Yes, I did. So when I decided, or that when I put together all the money that I needed to save for the year, and I put in an Excel sheet, one thing that I did was I actually paid up bills up front. So for example, I know that on a monthly basis, my phone was going to cost me $50 a month, right? I called my phone provider and I told them, look, what is the best rate that you can give me for the next year? So, what I was trying to do was I was trying to lock down a lower rate for the next year so that it would help me have a good idea of how much I was going to be spending on a monthly basis. I'm not saying necessarily get into a contract, but if you've been with like your phone or your Wi-Fi provider for a long time, they should be able to give you a discount, okay? And so I called all of my providers, all of them, from my phone to my insurance to my Wi-Fi, all my utilities. I'm like, what is the best rate that I can get for a whole year? So for example, for my phone, they said I could get $45 for the next year. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I took $45 times 12 for the whole year and I upfront that payment. I don't know if that makes sense. I basically put a credit in my phone provider account, and I was like, in my accounts, I'm just gonna pay $500 there. And what happens is on a monthly basis, they take out what you owe them. So if it's like $45 on a monthly basis, they just take out $45. But what that has done to me is that I have removed phone payments from my head. There's just $500 sitting down in that account, and I know that I don't have to worry about it again. And when that $500 is exhausted, then I'll think about it, right? So that's kind of what I did for things like rent. I know how much my rent is. I took all of my rent money and I put it in a separate account. And I was like, auto pay every month. This goes out to my landlord. I don't have to think about it. Traveling, I already had a travel account. That's something that I've always had. It's a high interest savings account. I always put money there if I have extra cash. It's a good habit to have, especially if you like to travel and if you like to travel like me, where it's like I know what I like. I like the nicer things in life. I always just put like spare change in my travel accounts. So I've always had a travel account, and it's something that I would also recommend that you get if your plan is to travel, whether you're taking a sabbatical or not. Get a travel account. Did you open an investment account? How were you able to discipline yourself and save for your sabbatical? How was I able to discipline myself and save for my sabbatical? I told my friends no a lot. You guys, like if somebody told me, let's go to dinner, I'd be like, babes, how about we go to the grocery store? Let's go to the grocery store and let's buy some food and eat pasta at home because there's absolutely rice at home. There's rice at home. There's wine at home. We don't need to go to the store. We don't need to go to the restaurant and spend $100 on something that we can make at home. Let's eat at home. And so I really told my friends no a lot. I was like, I have to miss out on a lot of experiences. I told all my close friends. Everybody knew that I was saving for a sabbatical. My friends knew, my sisters knew. I was very upfront about it. I wasn't shy that I wanted to do this big thing. Like I had this big goal. I don't want to work for a whole year. That's a big, big goal. And so it wasn't coming as a surprise where they'd be like, "Do you want to go to dinner?" I'd be like, "No." "Do you want to go to brunch?" "No. I'm not going. I can't afford it," were my favorite words. I cannot afford it. And it was also good because my friends were like, "You know what? I wanna plan and take a sabbatical as well." Like they were inspired by the fact that I kept saying, "I can't afford it. I'm not going. I'm not buying those shoes. I'm not buying, like, I don't need a new bag." Literally, I just kept telling myself, I don't need this. You realize how many things you don't actually need when you have a big goal or you're planning for like a big purchase or something like that. So I just kept saying, I can't afford it. That's how I was able to discipline myself. I can't afford it. I'm not going. Nobody's going to beat me at the end of the day. So, yes, that was how I was able to stay disciplined. I told everybody around me, I have this big goal. Please don't try to dissuade me from it. Don't try to force me to do anything. I'm not going to the club. I'm not popping bottles. I'm at home. Okay. Did you take a sabbatical or did you quit your job? I would say I took a sabbatical. The reason why I would say I took a sabbatical, even though I actually quit my job from my 9 to 5, was because I have plans of going back to corporate America. I know that people think that when you say you take a sabbatical, you don't really know if you're gonna go back. I know I'm gonna go back. I know that I still have a lot of things to learn from corporate America. I love being an entrepreneur. I had goals for taking a sabbatical, which I'm gonna talk about in a little bit, but I want to go back to 9 to 5. I love the structure. I am a structure babe. I love learning from corporate America. It gives me a lot of insights that I'm not able to learn by myself as an entrepreneur. I'm not very good with like testing and failing on my own dime. I would rather test and learn on someone else's dime. I won't say fail. Test and learn on someone else's dime. And I always think of like corporate America and just like being in a 9 to 5 structure as free business school. I don't take it for granted. I'm very much career driven. I know what I want in terms of like my career. And so I will go back to 9 to 5 at some point. But one of the goals of me also taking a sabbatical was because I wanted to start a clothing line, which is going to be launching now in spring. So even though I was, taking time off, traveling, living my life, la vida loca, and just enjoying myself, there was a goal behind taking a sabbatical. I wanted a break so that I could, embrace my other passions and just be excited about other things that I could create outside of just like, working a typical job. And one of those was starting a clothing label. I've had that dream for a long time, but I've not had the time to actually put it into motion. So in the last year, I've done the groundwork. We're in the final stages of production. I'm so happy. I can't wait to come back and tell you guys my clothing brand is going live. But yes, that is pretty much what I've done in the last year. That was the goal of taking a sabbatical in addition to just like resting and relaxing. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the name of the brand on the screen. We're not live yet, but we're gonna be live soon. Soon we're gonna be live and I'm gonna be back here to tell you guys about it. How do you get over the guilt of not working? Is this Do people get guilty for not working? Because I don't. Like, I had no guilt of not working. Okay, let me be honest. The first week after taking a sabbatical, I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? What have I done? I felt like I was bored, but then I felt so, would I say purposeless? I felt a bit purposeless. And then I realized that it's not about the guilt of not working. I realized that I had attached a lot of my self worth and a lot of my achievements as an individual to being able to juggle a 9 to 5 with being a content creator. Right. And so I wouldn't really say I got over the guilt of not working. For me, it was more so getting over feeling like my work was my purpose, which it isn't. Like there's so many other things to life, and clocking in and clocking out of a job that wasn't necessarily even giving me the most joy, but just because I was good at it, I found purpose in it. I had to get over that and just know that it's okay for me to take a break. It's okay for me to rest. It's okay for me to feel like I have other passions. It's okay for me to not know what I'm doing. Like, uncertainty is not the end of the world. I am a hard as Capricorn. I am such a Capricorn babe. And if you're a Capricorn and you're watching this, live in the comments if you can relate to what I'm saying. I am so used to achieving things. I'm used to doing the next thing. Okay, I'm great at X, I'm great at Y, I'm great at Z. When I quit my job, I honestly felt like I wasn't good at anything. And it took me a while to get over that. It also took me a while for me to be like, I was using work to cover up a lot of things that I didn't want to deal with in my personal life. It was like, oh, no, 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 I'm busy. I'm too busy. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So when I quit my job, it really opened up a different world to me where I'm just like, oh, I really thought that my work was who I was. Like, if I wasn't achieving something, then I would just feel useless. That's how I felt. And I had to get over that. So it wasn't necessarily like the guilt of not working for me. It was more about work is not my life, right? And my life is not attached to what I can achieve or what I cannot achieve. There's so much more to life. And so that is what I had to learn. And that is a big part of what I'm also taking away from my sabbatical is there's so much more to me than just like this achieving babe. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, to me, that was what my struggle was. Not even like the guilt of not working. My dream life is to not work. Like, if I'm being very honest, my dream life is to not be working. Did you keep your apartment? How did the resignation go? And was it permanent or are they open to you returning? I was really good at my job. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was really good at my job. When I put in my resignation, my boss was like, hmm, are you sure you don't want to think about it? Like, I was leading a team. I was great at it. We had just gone through an acquisition. I work in tech. If you work in tech, you're familiar with those terms. We had just gone through an acquisition. I was leading a team. I was soaring high. I was, doing everything I was supposed to do. And then when I quit, my boss was like, "Are you sure? Like you're due for another promotion to like even a higher rank?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And immediately I quit my job. I remember the week after, somebody messaged me. She's a dear friend, and she messaged me and she's like, "Oh, I want you to come fill this role at Google for me. What do you say?" And you guys, it took everything in me. It took everything in me. And I remember when I was just typing the message to her and just being like, I just started my sabbatical, babe. Like, I can't come work for you at Google, please. And she was, I talked to her about it. She's like one of my mentors. And I just told her, and I was like, I really need this break. Before I went on the sabbatical, I had talked to her about it to say, how do you think this is gonna affect my career progression? And she gave me her honest review, just be like, no, I think you've done amazing at your career so far. And if you were ever to come back to the 9 to 5 workforce, she gave me some pointers on how to come back and explain that gap in my resume, which maybe I should talk to you guys about, but in another video. Um, but yeah, my resignation went well. My team and I, my former team and I, we still talk on LinkedIn. We're good. We have a good relationship. My quitting was permanent as well. And did I keep my apartment? Yes, I kept my apartment for a bit. And then my younger sister and I decided to move in together, which was another way to save money. And so we got a bigger apartment, but then now I even pay less rent, which is better because now I live with somebody. So yeah, that was honestly good. I think those were all the questions that people asked. I feel like maybe we can do another video just breaking down financial planning when it comes to sabbatical. You guys let me know if you want to see a video like that. It helps if you leave comments um, down below so that I can look at your comments and get ideas of what kind of videos to create when you're planning on taking a sabbatical. I will recommend a sabbatical to anybody that comes to talk to me about it. Like the last year has been one of the clearest, happiest years of my adult life. And I am so glad that I gave myself this gift. I am so glad that I gave myself this opportunity to remove my self worth from my work and just to take a break and to relax and just to chase other passions and just be invested into other things that give me joy. And so if you come to me and you're like, should I take a sabbatical? My first answer is yes, do it. But obviously, I don't want you to just, you know, jump in head first. I want you to plan. And that is where like the adulting, I guess, comes in. It's like just planning to gift yourself this big gift. I saw a lot of comments when I posted this on Twitter, on Instagram saying, "Oh, I wish I could do this." Somebody even said, "Oh, she should have put this money in a down payment." I'm like, girl, you don't even know that blessings come in different forms. And to me, this was a blessing at this point in my life. I have no attachment. I have no husband. I have no kids. If I don't take this kind of break now, I'm not going to take it when I have a child that's going to school, and you know what I mean? So I was so blessed. I feel so blessed that I was able to gift myself this right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. But before we go, please don't forget to thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you, your friend, your auntie, your mother, your father, your brother, their uncle, anyone is thinking about taking a sabbatical or just a year off to relax, send them this video because I think it's going to be useful. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.